Hi my amazing pen friends, it's Jess from My Magical Planner, and today I have a little bit of a haul from Goulet pens. So I have 6 ink samples that I'm really excited to try out, as well as an ink miser. So whenever you order from Goulet pens, you also get this little pamphlet here that kind of just goes over general things. It's a really cute little pamphlet that they always send. You also get a Tootsie Pop, which I think is just a cute addition, and a vinyl sticker. These are random, so I was really hoping I was going to get the tea one, but unfortunately I did not. But this one's still really cute. I like the ink swatch. So let's get into the order by looking at the ink miser. So one of the problems I had this last month that I was inking up pens from samples is that some of the nibs, I'm trying to think of which ones it was. It might have been, I think the one I had the most problem with was probably the Monteverde. This is a Ritma, and the feed is so far up and the nib is so long that I was having trouble getting ink into here. And so I decided I would try out an ink miser. These aren't very expensive. I want to say they're under $10. But I'll insert the actual price here so I'm not misquoting. But essentially what it is just a tapered little device here. So you put your ink sample in here, and because of the taperedness of it, it allows the ink to be further up in here, so it's easier to fill your pens. So we're going to try it out. It comes with a very bent pipette so that you could transfer ink probably to here. I don't see any markings on the sides. They do come in clear and I believe black. I'm not sure, like the black one, I was kind of like, well, I can't see my ink. So I would have a hard time with it. So I went with clear. But anyhow, that's the first part. But let's get into the real reason we ordered, which was these 6 inks. So hold on. I'll put them all out here. Now I think these are all, for the most part, newer inks. So we have Robert Oster's Silver Dawn, which was, it's like a purpley color with some silver shimmer. We have Pelican, Eldelstien, gold, is it Lapis? I'm not sure how you say that, but you can see here the gold and kind of bluish shimmer, and it's a blue ink, so I'm excited to try that one out. We have Ferris Wheel Press Emerald Garden, which I'm wondering how close this is going to be to Color versus Brain, which is a favorite ink of mine. And then we have, I think that the company is Endless, but that feels like, it feels like it's not the whole name. I don't know why, but it's Wizard's Pencil. This was a new line. They came out and they look like little potion bottles, and it's just really cool, the presentation. So I wanted to try one of their inks. And then I think these last 2 are both by Wearingeul. So this one is Hades, because I've discovered I really like having a black ink. It's very versatile. These are black inks with shimmer to them, and I can't remember who has what shimmer. You can see a little bit of it there. So this one was Hades and this one is Hamlet. So I think one has blue and maybe one has purple, but I could be wrong on that. So I do have my ink swatching supplies here. So I have my ink swatching book. I have a pipette and my Pilot dip pen for writing. I have my little sample vial stand here, and my trusty, I'm going to use the bag that came in here. We're just going to crunch it up a little bit because they work better when they're crunched up and they have more creases because the ink will follow the creases. So we're just going to, blot it up a few times. Okay. So, oh, and we need a sheet of paper. So I just use like a normal sheet of paper, and I will set this underneath the page. Oh, looks like one of my inks lost their top tab. But I just set this underneath. This is a, blah. So I just set it underneath here to help with any bleed through and protect the other page, because this is a notebook from Hobonichi, the Hobonichi Custom. So it has the Tomoe River paper in it, which is a very thin paper. It does a great job of showing off all the qualities of each of the inks, but at the same time, it tends to, like, especially for swatching, you'll get some bleed through, and I want to protect the next page to prevent any kind of contamination. I only swatch on one side of the paper, and it tends to be this side. I don't know why I do that. I just do. So let's get into this. I did have room for one more ink on the previous page, but I think we're going to start off on this page. So let's start. Ooh. It's always a hard, you know I want to do the Wizard's pencil, I think, in one of the last. And let's do, we have purple. Maybe we do our green ink and then get into all the others. So we're going to shake this up a little bit. And go ahead and put down our dot here. Ooh, that was a lot. Then I just take the bag and I kind of spread out the ink a little bit, and we see what kind of shape it makes. I love how this works, and it's such a cheap way of doing it. And then I just dip you probably just heard it, but I dip the bag in just a little pan of water that I have here, and that cleans it off. And then I have a cup of water for the pipette, and I'll rinse that out until it is clear. Okay. We're going to shake it up just a little bit more. I am really loving the shimmer in this. I really am going to have to compare it to the Colorverse ink and see how close they are, because they seem really close to me. Maybe this one's a little darker though, and more green than the other ink I'm thinking of. So Ferris Press, Emerald Garden. And then I do just a little square here, just to give me an idea of how that goes. And then I'll do some squiggles here. And a couple of line strokes. I think this one's going to be really, really pretty. So there's that one. Make sure everything's all set up for our next color. Everything's all dried off. Okay. Now we have the Pelican Eldelstien. Is it Lapis? Laps? L-A-P-I-S. I have dyslexia, so sounding out words is really difficult for me. For the most part, I just can't, to be honest. I do a lot of my pronunciations from just a memorization, because that happens to be how bad my dyslexia is. And sometimes you'll notice when I'm writing, I'll misplace a letter on accident as well, which annoys me to no end, but it does happen. So if I do that, I am really sorry. Just a drop. I like this blue. It's like a very deep blue, but it's not. Sometimes it's so blue that you're like, oh, is that black? But that's definitely not the case here. So I'm going to shake it again just a few times because that shimmer does tend to settle sometimes rather quickly. It depends on the ink, and I just got blue all over myself. I don't know how I did that, but you know. So, Pelican, Eldelstien. So I don't know if that's like the line of these inks or if that's the full brand name. So if anybody knows, let me know because I'm curious. Golden. And then we have our square. And our strokes. Oh wow, look at that gold come out. It almost looks green in this area. Wow. Alright, I think I'm going to move the paper up a little bit. And, oh, I have a very dark pool there. That's going to take a little while to dry. But let's do the Silver Dawn one. I'm discovering, so the Ferris wheel press inks, I like the colors a lot of the time, and I think they're very unique and everything, but I don't always love writing with them. But the Robert Oster ones that I have, I've really enjoyed. So actually, I think I need to get a second pipette out because I think this one has a little bit of a stain to it. All right, so I'm grabbing out a fresh pipette because that one looked a little stained. Trying to make sure that we have everything really mixed in there, and it looks like it does. Just a dot. Okay. So my guess would be this is supposed to be like the sky at you know, dusk kind of deal. Or dawn, as the case may be. Although I think of it more as sunset when I'm thinking of the sky changing colors. Maybe because I sleep through the other one most of the time. I'm not a big golden hour girl. At least not these days. Used to be. Oh, I didn't shake it first. And I think it settled. Hold on. Let me retry that. Oh, wow. Like the overall shimmer of this one is going to be really fun. And I think it's going to be a good match for my Benu French poetry. I have a feeling this is what I'm going to use this next month in there. No guarantees, of course, because, you know, people's minds can change. But Robert Oster. Silver Dawn. Oh wow, the color changing in this is really, I probably didn't need to dip, but I'm doing it anyhow. didn't get a very good dip on that, so if this doesn't, I just did the very tip. Wow, this is amazing. If it writes as pretty as that, like all of these inks so far are just amazing. Now, Hades has been one that I have been so intrigued by this color. Oh, you can see a little bit of it there. It has like this blue and purple and oh my gosh, it looks amazing. It really does. Put a little bit in there. I think I shook that. I hope I shook that up first. Yep. I think it's so important to have a good black ink that you love, because it's just so versatile. And if you have one that has shimmer to it, it feels like it's just this like little pizzazz. Okay, I'm going to shake you up a little bit. Oh, I can see the blue. Now, Hades is one of my favorite kind of villains, we'll say, especially if we're talking Disney villains. Like his character in the Hercules movie is totally my favorite because of his sass. Like, I love him and I love Mim. So, Mim is from Sword in the Stone if you don't know. If you've never seen it, you totally should. It's an amazing little movie. I think it was one of the last ones that Walt Disney himself worked on. So, I like how far the Wearingeul inks tend to go for me. They just, I don't know, they flow really well. I do really like their company, like in general, for their inks. Okay, let's do Hamlet right underneath. Oh wow, the blue. So I think Hamlet might be the one that has the purple in it, but I can't remember. But I don't know if you guys can see it yet, but the blue shimmer that's coming out in that is so pretty. Okay. Couple beads of water on my bag, so I'm just going to take care of that really quick. Is my pen good? Okie dokie. Let's see how Hamlet looks, which, by the way, Hamlet is one of my favorite plays. I haven't seen it in years, but I do really love it. Honestly, I love plays, so I think they're so fun, and there's so much artwork that goes into them, and yeah. Oh, this one's more of a blue ink. Okay, so this is more black. This is definitely blue with some shimmer to it. Oh, I almost grabbed the wrong one. So this is Wearingeul Hamlet. And a square. And some strokes. Oh, the shimmer on this one is really pretty too. Okay, we're going to let these dry, and then I'll do the wizard's pencil back on this page once they're dry, and we'll do some close-ups. All right, let's swatch this last ink, the Endless Wizard's Pencil. I'm intrigued. I love the name. I really do. So, let's open her up. Oh, that's kind of pretty. with a name like Wizard's Pencil, I do wonder, like, is it going to have some variation in the color? I think it's supposed to be a gray. Ooh. This will be interesting to see how it dries. Definitely a gray. I see a little bit more like almost greenish tones, but I don't know if that's just my eyes on the gray, if that makes sense. So let's see. Put in this. Wizard's Pencil. And it flows really nice. I think this could be a very nice ink to work with, honestly. Okay, we're going to let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll do close-ups of all the inks together, because I think that's going to make more sense than doing one. So we'll let this dry, and I'll be back in a few. Alright, everything is pretty much dried, so we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at that Wizard's Pencil. I zoomed you guys in just to make that a little easier. So I did take a pencil and just made a little box here next to it to kind of see how it related to the color, even though it's Wizard's Pencil, not just pencil. But I do actually think that it has a lot of the same qualities as a pencil as far as color goes. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but I think this is a solid gray color that could work very well in a lot of circumstances. It's going to go with a lot of things. It's going to be dark enough you can see it. If you're into like sketch type drawing, I could see it being really nice. As far as bleed through, we didn't really have much here. There's like maybe a little dot here and here, but otherwise we don't have anything. So I think it's really solid as far as that goes. Now I do see a little bit of a shine going on here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think if you get it down dark enough, you will have almost a little bit of a black sheen to it, which is, I don't know, it's really nice. The gray part almost leans a little bit to the greenish spectrum, but it is a solid gray. So that's what I have to say about that one. And then we get to this page. And oh my goodness. So the Ferris Wheel Press Emerald Garden is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the green shimmer that they have in here. In some lights, like to me at this angle, it looks teal opposed to green. Where I can see on the camera, it looks very green. I don't know if I can get the teal to show up in the camera though, because you have to get it at the right angle. Maybe a little bit there. But it's a really nice green. I like how dark it is, actually. The base color is really a nice emerald color. You do get just a little bit of a red kind of on the edges here, which is also really nice. You don't see much of the red in the writing, but this H, which was really wet, does have a little bit, but other than that, I don't really see it. As far as the shimmer in the writing, it's there. It does, so I have it through about here, and then this portion I don't really see it, which makes me think those particles probably sink rather quickly. We'll see how it performs in a pen, but that is something to be aware of. Some inks it stays for longer, and other ones it just doesn't. Next we have the Pelican Eldelstien Gold Lapses, however you say this. So it did dry a little lighter than I thought it was going to, which surprised me. I don't dislike the blue. I liked it a little bit better when it was wet and it was a little darker. it's a very solid blue. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the gold shimmer is really nice. You can really see that shimmer here where it pooled. There is a little bit of redness, or maybe even like almost a maroon. It's definitely different than this red. And just around the edges, like a reddish purple. Really see it right here. I don't see a whole lot of that in the writing again. Maybe a little bit on a couple of letters just on the very edges. The shimmer quality went really well, I think, through this area again, but I see none in the lower portion of the squiggles and stuff, so it probably settled fairly quickly. Again, not uncommon. I mean, it's hard to keep everything suspended, especially with a dip pen. So that'll be an interesting one to see in a fountain pen as well. Now, these next two inks are probably, okay, the next three are probably my favorites of this batch. I mean, I like all of them, but the Robert Oster's Silver Dawn is amazingly beautiful. So we have like a lighter purple in this area, and of course you have some different shading in there, and then you have a blue edge in here with all of this silver shimmer. You can see my fingerprint there from when I did that, so it does, the shimmer does come off, like it's thick enough it can come off of my finger and leave an imprint, so just be aware of that. So the shimmer will move on you. As far as the writing goes, it, like this beginning stages of the writing look really amazing with the kind of bluish or darker outline with the silver in the middle. I think that looks awesome. You do kind of run out of the shimmer down here, as with all the other ones. I think it's rare for me to see a ink that will have shimmer down into this portion with the dip. I can only think of a couple that do it, so I'm not saying that the shimmer is not amazing. So this is a color that if it performs well in a pen, I would want to get a full bottle of, I think, because I really like it. Next we have the Wearingeul Hades, which has this blue shimmer to it. You can kind of see a little bit of an edge here where it pooled more, that's a little darker. I don't know if I'm going to call it sheening. I mean, there is a silkiness to it, so maybe, but mostly what you're seeing is that black, and it looks like a true black with the blue on it. So as far as the writing sample, just the name and everything, you can really see the blue in the Wearingeul Hades portion. Not so much down here, but even when it runs out, like I can still see it here, even when it runs out, it's a solid, nice color. So I think this is, like, I think these two are going to be colors that I ink up this next month, and possibly Hamlet as well, which is the next ink. Now Hamlet is more of a blue with a gold shimmer. I think it's similar to Ferris Wheel Press Stroke of Midnight, to be honest. I'm going to have to put them next to each other to really see, but it's a nice solid blue. I think Hades a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more unusual, but both are really, really pretty. So as far as shimmer goes, for Hamlet, it feels like it runs out right about here. Like I see a teeny bit in these other letters and a little bit in the square, but none down here. Again, fairly common. The shimmer does not, and the Wearingeul ones, like I can put my finger there. I'm seeing a little bit of fingerprint there, a little bit there too. Okay, so that's kind of all the colors. Now, I thought, I haven't done my swatch card stuff yet. I'm getting to that. It's just going to be a big time investment. So let me pull out, oh, no, it's on the floor. All right, let's look at these in comparison to a couple of other inks, and I'm pretty sure they're in here. So as far as this green goes, so I think I have it, it's one of my first inks in this book. Let's see here. Page 8. So it doesn't really look like any of these greens. So the one that I was wondering about was the Colorverse one, which I use quite often, and I love this. This is definitely more of a deeper green. It's almost like if you mix the Colorverse and Brain with Robert Oster's Envy, almost, maybe. But I don't think I have any other color that really is similar to this, because a lot of mine tend to be more of the like olivey type greens or avocado greens, opposed to a true green. Maybe the Sailor Dipton one. Let's see. Sailor has one called like Mellow Forest. Oh, there it is. No, this is, nope, those don't match either. And I don't think I have, yeah, I don't have any other ones that are really in this shade of green. So maybe this is a green that would be good for me to experiment with to see if I like it more than some of the others. As far as the golden lapses, or however you say it, somebody correct me down below. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. I don't know that I have anything that is this color. So I do have a lot of blues, but even like the base color of this is different. It's very vibrant. Maybe I was thinking the closest might be the Esterbrook Aqua, but they're similar, but I don't know. I like the gold sheen though, or shimmer, sorry. So that'll be a fun ink to play around with. As far as the Silver Dawn goes, look here. I do have a couple of purples. So here is Violet Clouds next to it. So this is definitely more like truly purple. This has more of a pink tone to it. A lot of these other like purples that I have aren't as deep as this one. Alpha might be in the same realm, but you know, they're very different inks. I think that's all I really have for purples. Oh, this is more of a pinky. So I think as far as cool purples with a shimmer, this might be the only one that I have in that shade. I don't have any real black, so I don't think I have anything that is even remotely close to this for Hades. However, for Hamlet, I was thinking Stroke of Midnight maybe, but okay, here's Stroke of Midnight. Stroke of Midnight is darker, and this has more gold in it, and this has more of almost a silvery gold color. So this is definitely more gold. Any other ones? I think there's any other ones that I felt were close. Like a lot of these I do from the Marie Recall, so I'm just flipping through. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else. It's really that dark grayish blue with shimmer. I mean, there are so many amazing colors out there. Witch by Starlight is more blue, and this seems more gray. Yeah, and I think that's it. So those are my new inks. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be inking up at least these two this next month. I think they're going to be fun to play with, and we'll see how they perform. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, I'll see you real soon.